you were here last night, you heard Troy Graham, but there's going to be like 3 other musicians joining him, and it's going to be a battle of the bluegrass. So please come back for that, and that's going to be here on the set at 7 p.m. next Wednesday night. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to turn it over to these guys because that's who you are here to see. So here we go.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here at this beautiful library on this beautiful evening, and so thrilled to be here in Marquette. We are the Stapletons. We are a husband and wife duo, and you may have noticed our subtle blue bus over there, 40 feet long, kind of bright blue. It's got mountains painted on the sides. And we've been traveling along the shorelines of the Great Lakes, the inner seas, with our 5 children and some friends who also have 5 children. And we're so thrilled to be here in beautiful Marquette. The first song is a great song for us, considering this bright blue bus. This song is called Blue Mountain Girl.
2, 3, 4. Drifting on and on, mountains wearing rings of thunder, hills bathed in gold. I knew you alone, the quiet night. That's why you belong. Paradise, yeah. He whispers, tell me, run away, far away, get away from here. The sound of your voice will carry me blue. Of 1,000 lifetimes, hushed among the trees. What they hold, the skies uncover, distant melody. I knew you alone, the quiet light, where we could become another life. Yeah. And he whispers to me, run away, far away, get away from here. When the sound of your voice will carry me blue. My throne in a raging thunder. Why everything is new when I'm with the blue, 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 blue.
All right, Casey's going to put away the 12-string slide guitar and pull out the acoustic now. And we're going to do a song about rivers. We came up here in that big blue bus from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a place which is intimately connected to Marquette through the iron ore trade. They needed to bring that iron ore down to Pittsburgh so that they could turn it into rivers of steel. And in Pittsburgh, we're situated where two rivers, the Allegheny and the Monongahela, meet and form the Ohio. And that river flows out to the Missouri and down to the Mississippi and the Gulf of Mexico. And this song is a riverboat song that started way on the East Coast in a little green valley in the Shenandoah River Valley in Virginia. And it's a song about a river that traveled all the way through the rivers and across the lakes and across the country. So as it traveled, it became a Great Lakes sailing song, and it became a Mississippi riverboat song, and a song for unloading at the Gulf of Mexico, and a West Coast Clipper song. And I learned it from my mother, who had it sung to her as a lullaby out on the prairie in Iowa, where the only rivers were rivers of corn reaching out from her door.
Maybe a couple notes. It's all right.
We're working on getting this guitar plugged in here. But I will say that when we look for songs to sing, the first thing that we do is order stacks of books. So we ordered a huge stack of books about the sailing songs of the Great Lakes. And we read an amazing book called Windjammers about the way that these sailing songs traveled. I see that some of you have read that book too. But these songs of the rivers and the working songs are so fascinating because they paint a really vivid picture of what life was like for people working. And it's hard to get a real flesh and blood feel for the way that history moved. And books, of course, are a wonderful way to do that. And people who have collected songs and books have really given us this gift. So the Shenandoah is a great example. That was actually a sea shanty, and I didn't realize it. It kind of came over originally as a shanty. So a lot of the shanties, which were the work songs of the sailors and of the Great Lakes, were written over in the British Isles, carried across the ocean, and then carried up into the Great Lakes where they made them their own. And this was the first one of those songs that we learned that was able to do that, that sort of opened up the world of these shanties that have worked their way into the fabric of our communities.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away, far away, across the wide Missouri. 'Tis 7 years since I've last seen you away, you rolling river. 'Tis 7 years since I've last seen you away, far across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Away, you rolling river, for her I'd cross your roaming waters. Away, far away, across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you. Away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, just to be near you. Away, we're bound away across the wide Missouri.
Three Girls in Michigan. So the next song is a sailing song of the lakes. This was traditionally sung by the sailors right out there on the Great Lakes. And this song is called Pretty Girls of Michigan. And it's a sailing song.
Oh, you pretty girls of Michigan, give ear to what I write. Of sailing on the stormy lakes, in which we take delight. In sailing on the stormy lakes, which we poor seamen do, while Irishmen and landlubbers are staying at home with you. With some pretty girls, a-telling them fine tales of the hardships and the hard day's work they've had in their cornfields. And when it's 8 o'clock at night, it's into bed they crawl, while we, like jovial hearts of oak, stand many a bitter squall. Oh, you pretty girls of Michigan, if you did only know the hardships and the dangers we seamen undergo, you would have more regard for us than oft you had before. You'd shun to meet those landlubbers that lounge about the shore. For oft at 12 o'clock at night, when the winds begin to blow. Heave out now, lively lads are welcome down below. It's now on deck stands every man, all ready to lend a hand, to shorten the sail, to weather the gale, until we reach dry land. And when the seas are mountain high and toss our vessel round, and all about does danger lurk, the vessel may go down. It's now on deck stands every man, all ready to lend a hand, to shorten the sail, to weather the gale, until we reach dry land. We sail the lakes from spring to fall, from Duluth to Buffalo. While landlubbers are home with you, or about their fields they go, we sail the lakes and money make for the girls that we adore. And when our cash is getting low, we ship again for more.
So we're going to do another very common Great Lakes sailing song. And this time we're going to have to put you guys to work a little bit. When sailors were sailing, they all had to sing. They didn't all have to be able to sing. They just had to sing. So it doesn't matter whether you can sing or not. You're just going to belt this out. There's a very, very easy refrain to this song that we're about to teach you. This song is called Red Iron Ore, and it's a song about the sailors who sailed the lakes, pulling in just a few, not very far from here at all. So this song was definitely sung right here, and the refrain goes, "Derry down, 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 derry down."
It goes like this. Derry down, 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 derry down. Can you guys
Let's
sing?
all try that.
Derry down, 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 derry down, derry down, 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 derry down.
That's all there is to it. You're ready. All right. Come all ye bold sailors who follow the lakes, on an iron ore vessel you're living to make. As shipped in Chicago, bid adieu to the shore, bound away to Escanaba, and that red iron ore. Derry
Down, 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 derry down, derry down, 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 derry down.
In the month of September, the 17th day, $2.25 was all they would pay. And on Monday morning, the Bridgeport did take V.C. Roberts out into the lake.
Derry down, 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 derry down, derry down, down,
Down, derry down. This packet she howled across the mouth of Green Bay, and before her, Walt Waters, she looked like red devils. Our fingers were sore. Curse Escanaba and that darned iron ore. Derry down,
Down, down, Derry down.
Derry down,
Derry down.
down, down, Derry down. Across Saginaw Bay, the Roberts did ride, with dark and deep water rolling over her side. And now for Port Huron, the Roberts must go, where the tug Katie Williams will take us in tow. Derry down,
Down, down, Derry down.
Derry down,
Derry down.
down, down, Derry down. We went through North Passage, oh Lord, how it blew, and all round the dummy a fleet there came to. The night being dark, old naked what scared, hove up next morn and for Cleveland did steer. Derry
Down, 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 Derry down.
Derry down,
Derry down.
down, down, Derry down. Now my song is ended, I hope you won't laugh. Our dunnage is packed and all hands are paid off. Here's a health to the Roberts, she's staunch on and true. Not forgotten the bold boys who make up her crew. Derry down,
Down,
down, Derry down, Derry down,
Derry down.
down, Derry down. Biggler. Okay, it was an unplanned, exciting ocean effect. Sea effect. So this next song is a song of the timber trade. And when they started timbering up here, they were cutting down white pine trees that were 300 years old and 200 feet high and 8 feet wide. And after they cut them down, they slid them out over the ice and snow, which was luckily abundant. There was a lot of that here. And they loaded them onto sailing ships, and they shipped them off across the lakes. And this is the song of one of those lakes, one of those sailing ships called the Biggler. And we love this song because you can kind of feel the wind in your teeth.
the Jolly Crew. In Milwaukee last October, I chanced to get a sight in a schooner called the Biggler, belonging to Detroit. It was a Sunday morning, about the hour 10. The harbor never told us to Lake Michigan. We set sail where she left us in the middle of the fleet. The wind blew from the southward, oh, we gave a sheet. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet, let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee. Gilligalee and Shakes, the entrance to the streets. We might have passed the big fleet there, but they have to wait. But we drove them on before us, the nicest you ever saw, out into Lake Huron from the Straits of Mackinac. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet and let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing free, all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee. The sweepstakes are getting in tow, and I was fore and aft. She towed us down to Lake Sinclair and stuck us on the flats. She parted hunters to a line and tried to give relief, and sent us down with a Biggler to the Maple Leaf. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet and let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing free, all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee. And now we're safely landed in Buffalo Creek at last, and under regular elevator, the big machine's made fast. And in some lager beer saloon, we let the bottle pass, and we're all drunk as shipmates, let's raise a social glass. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet and let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing free, all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet and let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing free, all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee. Watch her, catch her, jump up on a choo-choo. Give it a sheet and let it slide, the boys will push it through. You ought to see us howling as the winds are blowing free, all the way to Buffalo, all the way to Buffalo, all the way to Buffalo from Milwaukee.
So this next song is an original song about the dangers of sailing out on these lakes. The most dangerous time to be sailing on these dangerous lakes is in November, when the November gales roll in. And that's because we get these glorious stretches that we call Indian summer, when the hot, humid air rolls up from the Gulf of Mexico and hangs out, and you wake up on a November day and it's 93 degrees. But often at the same time, a cold dry storm will blow down from Canada. And when those two storm fronts meet over the lakes, they whip up the water on the lakes into hurricane conditions. And this song is about a storm that happened in 1913. It was the greatest storm that was ever recorded out on the Great Lakes. There were waves over 50 feet high, and on a day that was hot and warm in the morning, the next day there were 6 feet of snow in Cleveland. There were many, many ships lost and many ships wrecked. 250 men were drowned. And one of those ships that was caught out on the lakes was a schooner that had been converted and was being dragged behind a steamship. The steamships were coming in, but the old schooners were still really solid ships, so they would load them up as high as they could with huge logs and tow them out into the lake. And when this storm hit, the man who was piloting the steamship cut the tow cable and let this ship drift away. And the man who was in charge of it took a message and he wrote it in a bottle and he tossed it over the side. And that bottle washed up along the shore 11 days later. And this song is about that letter. This is called The Letter.
Tall ships carry timber from the north woods to the plains. To build our towns and cities, lay the tracks for racing trains. White sails on blue horizons, wings upon the wind. The schooners were flying upon Lake Michigan. Was a schooner born into the age of steam. They stripped her sails and rigging, crewed her with a skeleton team. Loaded high with cedar at Menominee. On the 8th of November, they towed her out to sea. Cold Alberta clipper was whistling toward the lake. Warm air from the Atlantic was rising in its wake. Fresh waters in a fury turned to a blinding snow. A hurricane was brewing as a storm began to blow. Gale caught the Plymouth up in North Lake, Michigan. They parted her tow cable in the lee of Gull Island, sailed away and left her to weather out the storm. 11 days later, a letter washed the shore. Dear wife and children, we were left up here in Lake Michigan by McKinnon. Never said goodbye or anything to us. Been out in the storm 40 hours. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Might see you again in heaven. Pray for me. were stranded and 19 ships were lost. 250 drowned, 1,000,000 was the cost. Chris Keenan washed ashore upon the beach at Manistee in the greatest storm recorded upon the inner sea. Dear wife and children, we were left up here in Lake Michigan by McKinnon. Never said goodbye or anything to us. Been out in the storm for the hours. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye, dear ones. Might see you again in heaven. Pray for me, Chris Keenan.
So the next song is an instrumental called A Walk in the Woods. And when we were reading about the timber trade and reading about the history of America through trees, when Europeans landed on these shores, America was forest. It was such an extraordinary forest that they couldn't believe what they were encountering. And before that time, people had been walking in the woods for thousands and thousands of years. And we are still, hopefully, walking in these woods today. So this is just an instrumental harp and guitar meditation on walking in the woods. right, so we have one more song for you tonight. It's been such a beautiful evening to spend out here in such a beautiful place. We're so grateful to you for spending it with us. We do have a few albums and Inner Seas t-shirts over there afterwards if you'd like to take a look or talk to us. We'll be right over there with some merchandise. We're so grateful to the Peter White Public Library for bringing us here on this journey. And this is another journeying song. It's not a sea song, but it's an overland journey song called Idaho. And we're going to close with that tonight.
They say there is a land where crystal waters flow, oh, beds of quartz and purest gold, way out in Idaho. Oh, wait, Idaho, we're coming, Idaho. Our forest team will soon be seen way out in Idaho. We're bound to cross the plains and up the mountains go. We're bound to see our fortunes there, way out in Idaho. Oh, wait, Idaho, we're coming, Idaho. Our forest team will soon be seen way out in Idaho. We'll need no pick or spade, no shovel and a hoe. The largest chunks are top of ground, way out in Idaho. Oh, wait, Idaho, we're coming, Idaho. Our forest team will soon be seen way out in Idaho. We'll see our times no more, and want we'll never know. When once we filled our sacks with gold, way out in Idaho. Oh, wait, Idaho, we're coming, Idaho. Our forest team will soon be seen way out in Idaho. Our forest team will soon be seen way out in Idaho. Way out in Idaho.
Thank you so much. Thank you for spending this lovely evening with us.